All right, man. Welcome to Enamored Reviews. We are having one more discussion for you today, and that is the Book of Clarence, starring Lakeith Stanfield. And I'm not going to waste any time. Lakeith is one of those actors, and I said this when I did the Haunted Mansion review. Lakeith is one of those actors that can play any role, but doesn't change. I have no idea how he accomplishes this, but the man literally seems as if he acts the same. Like, I don't know how, but don't get it twisted. He acted this role. Don't get it twisted. This was probably one of his strongest performances. Not necessarily the strongest, but one of his strongest performances. I was actually moved to tears. Wasn't a lot of tears, but I actually got moved to tears in this film.
Did you?
I actually did.
Did you now?
I did, man. And
I
since
thought
this is
I
the
saw
discussion,
you
we
do.
are giving some spoilers. So
Definitely.
if y'all don't know that, you know it now.
Right. But still tune in.
Oh, I definitely got spoilers.
Oh yeah.
At the end, during the Passion of Christ scene, yeah, when the little guy that was also in Haunted Mansion, that I think he played his son in Haunted Mansion,
Right.
When he
came in to help him.
came in to help him, yes, I was moved.
You were moved.
I was definitely moved to tears, man.
It was. I can't say that I was moved to tears per se. It was a powerful scene. But I guess at that point I was getting in that confused state.
Okay.
So
what were you confused about? Because you kind of said that in your review.
Right. So I'm glad that this is a spoiler. So at this point, the fake Messiah which is Clarence, is now being crucified or on his way to be crucified. And the scene took place as if what we all within our religion believed to be how Christ was going to be crucified. So I was a little taken aback because Christ was still present. He had already started telling the disciples that, Judas is going to betray me, which he had already betrayed him. But Jesus had already told the disciples that Judas was going to betray him. And in 3 days, they were coming to get him and he was going to be the ultimate sacrifice, right?
Okay, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And I think I kind of got it when you were doing the review. Hold on. Let's have a discussion for a second.
Okay. I've asked for a discussion.
What makes you think that didn't happen?
No, I'm not saying that it didn't. I guess in my mind, it seems as if it was being portrayed that Clarence, because there was also a scene right before then. Hold on. I'm
gonna ask the same question, babe. You're not getting it. What makes you think that could not have been a reality? Because I think you're doing like most church folk. You too far gone in your head and all the knowledge you know about God and all the knowledge you know about the Bible. I told y'all the Bible is going to cause a lot of people to go to hell.
Right.
And what I mean by that, let me clarify. Y'all too far caught up in you that you don't even got the relationship anymore. You too far caught up in some text that you ain't even. He said, "Hide the word in my heart."
Right.
Put it in my heart. This is not just some lip service. Seriously.
Oh my gosh.
Put it in my heart. So again, what makes you think that none of that occurred?
I'm not saying that it did not occur.
I'm not saying that it did. But go ahead.
What I'm saying is, let me clarify this to make sure that you understand before I move forward. I am not saying that Christ still didn't go through the same notion. Correct? I'm not saying that didn't still, or they couldn't have still portrayed that in the film. That Christ still didn't, take his walk and he was beaten on his way, with the cross. I'm not saying that couldn't have still happened. What I'm saying is they tried to portray it because before then as well, they told Clarence to walk on water because Clarence has denied that he is the Messiah. He's basically saying that, I was a fraud. And now no one is believing him. So they're saying, well, since you're not the Messiah,
Right.
That means you would come up here. I want you to walk on water because what you're going to do, since you're not the Messiah, you're going to drown. Right?
Right. But the man said he wasn't going to let the boy
He was
drown.
lying.
I don't think he was lying.
I think he was lying.
I think he was telling the truth. He was not going to let him drown, but our mission was to find the false messiahs, right?
Right.
Our mission was to find the false messiahs and to crucify them, right?
Correct.
You just walked on water, and everybody walks in and falls in the vat of water, right? So how can I got to do what I got to do? But he said I wasn't even going to let you drown. I personally think that he was telling the truth because you remember later on he told him, I actually like you.
But he let his soldiers drown when they went in.
I don't think they drowned, but we don't know. We don't know.
So
I don't think they drowned.
he didn't make an effort to save any of them.
No, he didn't.
So I don't feel as if he was going to save him if he began to drown, because the whole mission of it was to kill him anyway. It was going to be one way or another. They expected him to drown, and being that he didn't and he walked on water, now I have to crucify you.
Okay. I don't think any of that is neither here nor there.
Because
I also feel as if whether the Book of Clarence could have been a real book or a fake book or totally make-believe, some people got together and wrote a movie.
Right.
Which is probably the truth, right?
Right.
Some people got together and wrote a movie. None of that negates the fact that Jesus Christ is Lord and Savior. Right.
Correct.
He didn't say, see, this. I think this is where people get stuff twisted.
No, I think
this is why y'all can't even enjoy
misunderstanding
movies.
me.
You done explained it 3 times. I don't know how many times you got to explain it. I think I personally just think that you just too far caught up in. For real, you just too far caught up that you can't even enjoy the movie.
I did enjoy the movie. I just said that I was just confused at the end because all of this was now portrayed at the end.
First of all, you talking about walking on water. Hold on.
I use that to say.
How many people we know in the Bible that walked on water?
Well, Jesus had walk on water with him. Yeah, with it.
Hold on. So what you're trying to say is you're limiting the power of God to Jesus Christ?
No.
He the only person that can experience the power of God?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
It's not making sense. It's not computing.
Okay, let's stick to the movie. Because
I am. This is in the movie. So
no, I'm not limiting the power, limiting God's power to just be with Jesus. I'm not. What I'm saying is that's where I was confused because the ending portrayed all of what was said to be Jesus. So he died on they did everything but put the thorns on his head.
Excuse me, yeah.
They did everything but that. They didn't roll back the tomb. Jesus came and busted the tomb open, spoke life into him.
And you fought for somebody to claim that they can't stand Kojic. You caught an issue with all of this?
I didn't catch an issue. I said I was confused by what was the message.
Confused, caught issue.
That's not an issue. What I'm telling you is, oh my gosh, that I am confused on what the message was portraying. That's all I said. So you, since you have it together, and I'm obviously missing the message, tell me the message of the ending.
The message of the ending to me, because I was thinking about it. The message of the ending to me was the sickness of man. It was the sickness of man. It literally was the same message of Jesus Christ. Right? There was no difference. There's a difference between Clarence and Jesus. I get that. But what I'm saying is the message that was portrayed through the movie was the sickness of man, because we allowed our fear, because you remember that conversation when they were in the alleyway, and Jedediah, the leader of the Jewish people, right? Jedediah said, you can't have Clarence. He's actually a good guy. We have our differences, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But he's actually a good guy. So you're going to take a good guy that did nothing out here hustling, you know, little slap on the wrist stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
May not have been such slapping on the wrist during that culture, that time period, but still,
Right.
obviously it wasn't anything worth being crucified over.
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna take this man to crucify him?
Mm-hmm.
Look how they treated him. All for what? To prove what? Literally the same thing that they did to Christ.
Mm-hmm.
To prove what? Right? So to me, the messages went hand in hand. And what I actually think that this was, and the reason why it was titled Book of Clarence, was like, what makes the writings of, and I say this oftentimes, what makes the writings of Thomas, Clarence's twin brother, or the writings of, even he talked about him scribbling.
Mm-hmm.
What makes the writings of Thomas, all of them,
Mm-hmm.
what makes it any bigger than Clarence's account? He was in close proximity.
Mm-hmm.
What would have made it any more important, that account? Because we started seeing them, even the funny thing was, even with the white Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and being that it was Jay-Z, of course, I think it was going to have some craziness, right? It was going to have some craziness entwined into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't think it's that crazy or off kilter to believe that some things have gotten, the word I like to is skewered, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some things have gotten twisted over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like the white Jesus up front, right?
Right.
The painting the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he looks like Jesus. He's just so
Right.
majestic and white. We have a complex.
Right.
The whole world has a complex that white is right. This is not. We just watched Origin,
Mm-hmm.
right? We just watched Origin with Ava DeVay, whatever.
Don't jack her name up.
I'm sorry. We just watched that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is not crazy, out of the realm of reality.
Mm-hmm.
We live in a society that believes white is right,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when they saw that this guy was a criminal, he got crucified just like everybody else. Okay, I take it back. He wasn't a criminal. But what I'm saying is, what if he had been a criminal and was crucified, and over time we got that messed up. That's where we get that image. That's not where it came from. This is fiction. That's not where that image comes from. But what I'm saying is, what if? Because we're talking about something that wasn't real. Book of Clarence.
Right,
I ain't
right.
never heard of. I heard of a lot of books
Right. But
that weren't
Clarence
a
was
lot
not
of
it.
writings. I've never heard of Book of Clarence. I'm going to look it up though.
Right.
But I've never heard the Book of Clarence.
Mm-hmm.
Got Book of Enoch. You got stuff taken out of that's included in the Catholic Bible. That's not included. You know what I'm saying? In any other verse. I get it. There was other writings.
Right.
I've never heard of the Book of Clarence though.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I just don't know.
Right.
But what I'm saying, last point before you take over. What I'm saying is, being that I don't know, and I just watched this film, does anything change? And this is the kicker. Does anything change about what I know to be the truth
Of course not.
about the story of Christ?
Of course not.
Nothing changes. And even if Christ didn't get on there and say, "Lord, forgive them," and that was actually Clarence's line, and it got misconstrued down the line. Even if that were true, does it still change? He never claimed that he was the Messiah, except for when he was obviously charading. He clearly stated that he was not the Messiah. He was even Jesus himself came and told him, "Hey, look, you believed on me. A person that didn't believe, you came back, you believed me." He raised him from the dead, right?
Right.
So nothing negates my faith.
Right. Right.
I think that you have to be very weak in faith. Your relationship is not as strong as you believe.
Right.
If this movie,
Shakes your faith.
it's gonna be what
Right.
what rattles you.
Right.
You not grounded. There's no foundation there,
Right.
right? So that's why I guess I'm kind of hung up on how you're so hung up.
I think you're still missing it. I'm not hung up. My faith is not shaken. I stand firm on what I believe. This movie in no way has shaked that. My simple confusion was on what was being portrayed in the end. As far as what was Clarence then being or doing after he was crucified, raised from the dead? Then what is Clarence doing?
I think he's doing what the rest of them did in the Book of Acts. I think it's the Book of Acts, right? Mm-hmm. Where they were commissioned to go build my church.
So you think he then in turn became that 13th apostle?
Bingo. Bingo. Because I think a lot of people get stuff twisted. Mm-hmm. Paul never walked with Christ.
All right.
He persecuted those who called themselves Christian. Did he not?
He did.
I think people get stuff twisting. That's why I said earlier, what gives all these other people, right? And I actually love that they showed the flaws. You remember these aren't people that you would be like, those people walk with Christ. His brother, Judas, of course, Judas.
Yeah, that was a given.
Peter, like just the pure flaws. I loved it. And the reason why I loved it, because it was so real.
Right.
It was a very human story.
Right.
And I think that's what's going to get a lot of people caught up, right? Because our story is a very human story. It's a very real and it's a very gritty story. It's not pretty all the time.
Right.
Everybody wants to make church something so pretty.
Right.
Everybody wants to make God a big teddy bear. That's just not the case.
Right.
And this film was very, very gritty, but lighthearted at the same time.
Definitely.
That's what I think was so great about it, right? And I'm not saying that it was 10 stars. I was thinking more like 7.5 to 8. But what I'm saying is that it took the subject matter, made it serious, and yet still was able to be lighthearted.
Right.
I laughed, I don't know how many times in here.
Right.
The things like white Jesus, the fact that they were calling each other Negroes, and they Jewish, because I thought Jewish people were white.
Negro.
That was obvious sarcasm. That was obvious sarcasm.
Right.
But the way that they took the subject matter and really had fun with it.
Right.
Man, there's nothing wrong with this movie at all.
Oh, not at all. I recommend that everyone goes to see it because I really did enjoy it. So I got a kick out of John the Baptist, as I said in my review.
Right.
I think I was sold on the movie at that point.
Man, listen. That was so fun. That whole scene was just so freaking funny, man.
It's hilarious. That really just took the cake for me.
Yes.
He almost didn't make it to be a fake Messiah. But everything about this film is enjoyable.
The fight scene. I'm sorry, you were about to go somewhere.
Go ahead.
The fight scene was so dope, man.
Which fight scene?
I think it took you. It was a couple, multiple.
Well, I'm saying, are you talking about the slave?
When he went to go free the slave, his guy. That was so dope.
Yeah,
like seriously,
you could really see the what do you call it? The way the graphics were done.
Yeah.
In that scene, which I enjoyed. It was kind of, I won't say unreal. No, the unrealistic part, realistic but unrealistic, kind of in the same notion. But speaking of unrealistic, when who was the slave that
got free?
Right.
Barabbas.
So the unrealistic scene with Barabbas when he was running.
Barabbas. I'm sorry, but when he was running, and they threw
Barabbas.
and they threw the
right, and they threw the spears at him.
Right.
He's been hit with the spears how many times? At least 3 times.
He told you
And
he was immortal. Y'all
And
didn't
immort-
want to believe him.
He said the only way that he could die is if they got him in his heel.
It was the wrong heel.
And
nigga.
then they got the wrong heel. I was like, oh my gosh, for real? This is how he literally breaks off. He kills one of the Roman guards, but he breaks off one of the spears, or multiple.
Yeah.
And he just continues on as if
And
nothing is happening.
And he goes and heals himself.
Right.
I'm thinking, and because I know a lot of people who are unbelievers, I'm thinking that this was a play on some Greek mythology as well. Who is that? There's a Achilles. You know where Achilles? There's a I think he's a demigod. Where his only which would kind of make sense. His only flaw was like you had to cut his Achilles to kill him.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I kind of think that they took some
some
privileges there, and that's just my thought. I don't know.
I could see it. It makes sense.
Yeah, I think they kind of took some privileges there with that story and kind of created this character. And Barabbas is actually a biblical name, but for some reason I can't think of who Barabbas is. But Barabbas is an actual biblical name, like it's a character in the Bible,
right?
By the name of Barabbas, but I just can't think of him right off hand right now. You don't know Tiana Taylor's name?
No, not that Mary. Other Mary.
Woodford.
Yeah. What is it?
Alfred Woodford.
Alfred. There. So Alfred Woodford.
Yeah.
Played
the Virgin Mary.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Or was she a virgin?
No, but she said, I was out here doing my virgin things. I was out here doing my virgin things, being a virgin, when she is telling this story. And I'm like, really? So, Mary, what are you trying to say?
I think, and again, I think they were really just kind of like making fun of it, because a lot of people say, a lot of people do say that.
Right.
She wasn't really a virgin. That means that she was just unwed.
And that's what she said. She said some people say to be a virgin, I was unwed, or some say that basically she didn't have sex. She was like, but however you want to look at it, I was out here doing my virgin things.
I feel like, but for me, I feel like they broke the, I'm not going to say they broke the fourth wall, because that's like when you just talk directly to the to the audience, right?
Right.
I think they went to like 3.5 wall a lot of times in this movie, right?
Right.
Wall 3.5. Like they wanted to break through,
right?
But they just, and because I really think we are too serious sometimes,
right?
Like we just nitpick way too much about silliness,
right?
Right. So just my thought, just my thoughts on it. So it was fun to see her, play around with that, because like we worry about stuff that doesn't matter.
Right.
Jesus didn't say you had to believe that Mary was a virgin.
Right.
He never said that. Mm-hmm. Jesus went as far as to say, who is my mother and who is my father? Mm-hmm. Are you not my mother, fathers, brothers? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. So y'all up here talking about getting hung up on the silliest stuff.
Definitely.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
Have fun. It was fun. To me, it was fun.
It was.
It was fun. I know the YouTube community is going to go crazy with this movie, and I look forward.
Oh, gosh.
I look forward to seeing it all this week, because I know we're going to see it. It's a lot of guys that I like to listen to.
Definitely.
Matter of fact, I'll drop their links in the description or something, or at least name them in the description, because these guys, I know they're going to touch it.
Of course.
I know
you're foolish not to.
Your boy, I don't know about him, because he that's a funny dude. That's a funny guy.
Who?
Tim Ross.
Oh.
Tim Ross, a funny acting fellow, man.
Yeah, but he seems like he can be a little lighthearted and comical.
Yeah, but you don't know what you're gonna get from this guy.
Right.
Week in and week out, man. You don't know where he stands sometimes. I swear he moved like wind. Like I really feel that way sometimes. That boy move like wind sometimes.
Well,
So I don't know.
definitely don't go see this movie with your religious cloth on. If you feel like you have to be so uptight into religion, you're not gonna enjoy the film. Like you've said before, you're not gonna enjoy it. So go in there with a mindset just to have fun. You know, it's a movie.
Yeah.
No one has said that this is exactly how this went and this is what is. It's a movie.
All right, man. I'm gonna close this up, but I am gonna tell you this. I enjoyed the Book of Clarence. I did not think that I was gonna enjoy the Book of Clarence, and the reason why I didn't. I think it was last summer when we first, or a little bit before last summer when we first heard about the Book of Clarence, and I first saw the trailer. I thought it was gonna be some blasphemous mess, and I'm not gonna say that it wasn't, but I thought it was gonna be so far out of the realm of reality.
Did you think because Jay-Z was involved in it? Did you think
that was true? That was in my mind.
Some Illuminati.
Well, I don't know about that. All that. I don't necessarily believe in that. I think there are secret organizations. Though. Don't get me wrong. I don't necessarily know if I believe in Illuminati, but I don't care for Jay-Z.
Right.
I don't care for him at all. Right. And I know a lot of people do, and I respect that. I don't like his voice. Tone too high pitched. You sound like a woman to me. How you gonna be rapping, trying to be gangster, and you sound like a woman?
Oh my
but
gosh.
you sound like an old auntie or something, man. and to me, that's just everybody got their cup of tea. He just ain't my cup of tea.
Right.
But I like that he tries to be positive towards the community. I really respect that.
Right.
Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I really do respect that. I always love that. But as far as like his beliefs, and they so twisted and weird, and I don't know where he coming from day to day.
Right.
Like I don't.
But are they truly and this is going to be off topic real quick, but are those truly his beliefs or what other people
what we
have
assume
told
them
you?
to be?
Right.
There you go. You go. We assume a lot about people a lot of times.
Right. So, exactly. So y'all be sure to let us know when you see the film what you thought about it. Leave us some comments. Leave us some likes. Let's have a discussion about it. Did you like it? Didn't you like? Or did you not like it? Did you think it was some blasphemy in there? Come join us for the discussion.